Season 4, episode 160. You are not your identity, and that changes everything. All right. Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back, tribe. I'm your host, Sebastian, and you're listening to Ignite the Spark Within. So, this is season 4, episode 160. And look, I'm going to need you to get yourself settled in because this topic, well, man, oh man. If this conversation lands, like if it does, I promise you, by the end of this conversation, something is going to change, right? Like if you get to like really get to connect to what I'm going to share with you guys today, right? It's going to change how you see literally everything, not some things, everything. Yeah. Because here's something that I find that we often don't really say out loud. Yeah. And is that most of us are walking around thinking that we're making conscious choices. Yeah. Like we're thinking that we're the ones actually calling the shots. Like thinking that if we just work harder, if we can get more clear, like if we just do the right strategy, like we're going to finally break through. And yet the same patterns keep showing up. Yeah. Different job, same frustration, different relationship, same dynamic, different year, same same version of the story. Sound familiar? Because look, that's consider, right? Consider that it's not a motivational problem. It's not even a discipline problem. Yeah. And it's not even a mindset problem. Yeah. Consider that. It's an identity problem. Yeah. And today we're going to be going there. We're going to be talking about that. What is that? What are you talking about? Yes. So we're going to be talking about that invisible, let's call it an operating system that's been running our entire life in the background, right? Like probably since like we were like young, like we were kids. And we don't often know it's even there. Like, it's like we're talking about that part of us that decides what's possible, like who we are and what we deserve long before our conscious mind ever even gets to have a say in it. Yeah, so we're not talking about that like overly like used and romanticized version of like what transformation is, right? That Instagram post. No, like, this is and it's not well, I guess it's also not really pertaining to, like, the whole idea of, like, a vision board and affirmations, right? Well, yes, I believe in that stuff, and it may be in that realm, it's not the same thing. Yes? What we're talking about is the deep architectural shift that changes everything downstream. And we're talking about the literal identity revolution. So, you ready for this? Bum, 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 bum. Oh man. All right. So, I want to give you this concept, right? And I want to give this to you, and I want to share it in a way that it lands, right? And I want you to hold this for like this entire episode. And the concept is this. Yeah, we're gonna start here. You have an identity, and that identity is like your computing operating system. Yeah. And you ever notice that you don't really think about your operating system, right? Like you know that your phone has an operating system, right? Like you do know that, right? Like that's how the phone works. The phone works because it has an operating system, right? Like and you just use it. You use the apps, right? You just scroll, like you type, like you use it for work, right? You make your phone calls. But everything you do, everything that's possible on that device is determined by what's running underneath, by The operating system. Yes? So let's say that your identity is the operating system. It runs silently in the background, like it determines what you do, what you don't do, like what you believe is possible for you. Yes? And what you think you deserve, like how you show up, like in relationships, in your business, in your own damn mirror, like your bathroom mirror, like how you show up there. Yes. And here's the thing, most people, and I mean most people, I have never once chosen like that have not chosen their identity, right? Like most are born into an identity that was given to them. It was chosen for them. Yes, by our parents, by our environment, by the things that happened to us when we were little. Yes, and we didn't have the tools to make it make sense. Yes, by the voices that told us who we were before, like we had language to push back. Right? So they've been living from an operating system, yes, and we've been living from an operating system that we often didn't install. And the worst part is that we didn't even know we had an operating system that we didn't install, that was actually running the show, right? That's running the software that was written on for like and consider this written on for survival, right? It's been the opposite of what thriving is. And that's the prison. And that's the messed up part, right? Consider that the door has been open, wide open, the entire time. But when we can't find that belief, when we can't find that identity, when we don't even know that there's a door there to explore, to go through, then we don't take the action. So let's take a pause and let's take a breath and take a step back. So now let's go over the actual hierarchy. Yes, this framework, because it's the foundation of a lot of things. Yes, and it's broken into three levels. You have your identity, you have your context, and then you have your content. Now, consider that content is what happens in your life. It's your experiences, your circumstances, your results. Like, that's the surface. Like, most people try to change their life on this level, and it just doesn't stick because you're trying to change the movie without actually touching the projector, right? And so the context then becomes the lens. Yes. And the context is like your belief system, it's the meaning you assign to everything. So two people can have the same experience, same job, same breakup, same setback, and one of them sees opportunity and one of them sees proof and evidence that they're not enough. Both experiencing the same content, yes, different context. And then there's identity. And identity is the container. It's the thing that creates the context, that creates the content. It's the, if I am aware that I can reframe this, who is the I that's reframing this? Yeah. So identity is who you think you are, not who you pretend to be, right? Who you actually believe you are at your core when nobody's watching. That's your identity. And here's the key, yes? Change your identity and everything else changes. The context, the content, your results, your relationships, your habits, all of it shifts automatically, without forcing, without willpower, without grinding it out, because the very system is now running on different software. Think about that. Now, I wanna get real with you for a second because I'm not talking about this like from a textbook context. Yes, like just from theory. I'm talking about this from sitting in the dark in the Amazon jungle under ayahuasca, having the medicine literally strip away every fucking identity I've been hiding behind. Yes. Like when I got out of the military, being part of the USS Ronald Reagan, being an aviation boatsman handler, and walking into the civilian life with this identity that I didn't know I had. And it was this that I am the guy who handles everything alone. I don't need no help. I don't ask for nothing. I carry the weight. I don't got time to complain. And for me, that sounded strong, right? Like, that's what sounds like that was discipline, like, that was maturity. And look, you know what? That identity almost killed me because that was the very identity that was actually protecting me from w was, from what I wasn't willing to look at. And it was that the fear that if I needed people, if I was vulnerable, then there's an opportunity for people to abandon me, to leave me behind, to see me as weak, and to discard me. Because if my dad did it, then anybody could do it. And that identity wasn't strength. That identity was a prison built out of an old wound, dressed up in this armor so it looked like power. And here's the thing about these identities, that they're not evil, they're not even wrong. They're actually pretty smart in helping us adapt at some point, right? They kept us safe when we needed to be safe. It was the context, but we've been carrying them past their expiration date, and they've been costing us. They can continue to cost us everything if we don't change that. And that's what I mean by the protection racket. I remember I heard this first time in Landmark, right? But, like, every limiting identity is protecting us from something, right? Like, the perfectionist, yeah, is protecting from feeling not enough. The people pleaser, protecting from rejection. The overachiever, protecting from the silence that comes when you stop and actually feel. You see, the cost of the protection is actually our freedom. So let me walk you through this with like a more concrete example because I really want this to click. Yeah. So take the people pleaser identity, for example. Yeah. The person who says yes when they really mean no. Ever been there? Who bends over backwards for everybody else and then wonders why they feel resentful and invisible. Like the person who gives and then gives some more and then has nothing left. Can you relate to that? You see, at the identity level, this person is I am someone who needs to be needed to feel worthy. At the context level, the filter that creates, well, if I don't make people happy, then they'll leave. And so my value is in what I give, not in who I am. At the content level, what shows up in real life, exhaustion, resentment, people pleasing disguised as generosity, a slow erosion of self, a life that's designed around everybody else's comfort at the expense of our own alignment. And here's the cruel part, the people pleaser actually keeps attracting people who take, because the identity is broadcasting a frequency. And like like always, right, attracts attract, right? And so the operating system creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like you can't hustle your way out of people-pleasing identity. Yes? Like you can't therapize? You can't therapize your way past. Like if you don't actually name and be aware of what it is. Like you have to get to the root. You have to look at the identity. Now I don't want to name any programs out there, but there's programs that make you claim you are a specific identity that limits and imprisons you. And that to me is wild. But we don't know what we don't know, yeah? So, I wanna pause right here, yeah? If you're driving, I invite you to bookmark this, like, just come back if you can and grab something to write with, because here's the question, I really want you to be honest with yourself, and it might trigger something, yeah? And the question is, what identity am I currently living from? Not the one I tell people, not the one I show on my Instagram. The one that shows up when things get hard. Who's that? The one that surfaces in conflict, in stress, in those quiet moments of self-doubt. Who's that? And then the second part, what is the identity protecting me from? So, no rush. Breathe. Ah. So now, let's move on. So, here's the moment that changed everything for me. All right. And I'm sitting in the Maloca in Peru, deep in ceremony, and ayahuasca shows me something. Yeah. Now, she doesn't explain it. Yeah. Ayahuasca doesn't always explain. She just shows me. She just shows me. And what I see is this: I'm watching myself, not from my own POV. Yeah. But from outside. Like I'm watching a character in a movie play out a role. And then I realize that the character isn't me. The character's something I've been wearing. Like, I'm not my ego. And if I'm not my ego, then I must not be my identity. If my identity is my ego and I'm not my ego, then I'm not my identity. And if I'm not my identity, then I can choose a different one. ¿Me entiende? You feel me? Like, you're not your identity. You have identities, like clothes, like tools, like roles you put on and take off. And the moment you see that, really see it, the prison door opens. Now, most people get stuck here because they confuse identity with authenticity. They say, but this is who I am. No, that is not who you are. That is what you learn to be in a specific environment, under specific conditions, to survive specific circumstances. That's not your soul. That's your strategy. And strategies can be upgraded. Yes? So let me walk you through what this actually looks like, because I don't want this to just be some inspiration without implementation. Yeah? So that's not what I want here. So step one, like I said earlier, you have to name it. You have to name it. Like identify the limiting, like identity that's been running the show. Like you got to get specific, not I have low self-esteem. That's too vague. What is the identity? I am the person who can't finish things. I am the person who needs to be liked. I am the person who doesn't ask for help. Like name it. Clean. Step two, let's calculate the cost. Yeah. Like, what has this identity actually cost me? and not abstractly, like concretely, like really, like what relationships has it damaged? What opportunities has it closed? Like, what versions of myself have I been unable to become because this identity keeps showing up? And you need to get honest, like, get uncomfortable because the pain of the cost needs to outweigh the comfort of the familiar. Step three, design the new identity. Like, this is where it gets creative and sacred. Like, who do you choose to be? Not who you're told to be, not who you were, not no, like who do you consciously choose to become? Write that down and make it a declaration, not a goal, an identity. Not I want to finish things, I am a finisher. Not I'm trying to set boundaries, I am someone who owns their space. Feel the difference? Step four, create daily proof. Like, this is probably the most important step and the most skipped one, right? Because your new identity has to be demonstrated in your behavior. Yes? In how you interact with the content, your interaction with the content. Yes? Is what graduate it's what gives the feedback back to the context, which then affirms the identity. Yes? So the provider does one concrete act of care for someone depending on them. Yes? That is what the provider does. Yes? The finisher completes one small things every day. The owner says no to one thing that doesn't align. So, tiny actions. Yes? Tiny. Tiny actions. Your new identity has to be demonstrated in your behavior in every single day. Not dramatically, blah, 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 minimally. Yes? Tiny actions, repeated consistently over time. Like, that's how you convince your nervous system and the people around you, right? Like, that you've actually changed, not by announcing this new identity, by living it. Yes? Now, let me add one more layer to this because it's the layer that separates people who get results from people who keep doing the work and still feel stuck. Yeah? You ready? All right. Most people, you ready? Live from their past. Yes? Like their past defines what they think is possible. Their past becomes the ceiling, becomes evidence. So therefore, every new situation they walk into, they're bringing their old identity with them like a backpack because they didn't know, like, I had a choice. Like, this is who I am. This is what I am. This is what I've been. So how do I not bring my old identity with me? And you see, the identity revolution, what we're speaking about, flips this. So instead of going from a past point of reference, we're now moving into a future point of reference. POV, am I looking at it from that or am I looking at it from up there? Yes? And so when we're able to do that, now we start to do things a little bit different. You see, we decide who we are first. Then we act from that identity. Yes? Because our past from that lens now becomes evidence of what we're becoming, not proof of limitation. And actually, Joe Dispenza talks about this, right? When he talks about the neuroplasticity principle. Yes, that your brain like literally builds new neural pathways based on new patterns of thought and action. You create new patterns, you create new patterns. Yes, literally. So, new identity creates new behavior, creates new results, creates new self concept. And that self concept creates a stronger new identity. That loop starts to run now for us. But here's the key: the loop has to be seeded by a conscious choice, not a wish, not a hope, a declaration, a decision made in the body, not just in the head. And then it has to be backed up every single day. That was funny. I went like this. And so let's put in the work right here, right now. You ready? I want you to write down, yes, write down the new identity you're stepping into. And here's key: not I want to be, right? I am. Then write one minimum viable action that you're going to take today, like today, to begin proving that identity is true. What's that one action? Minimum, doable, real. That's it. That's it. Like, that's the beginning of the revolution. So I'll go first. Hmm. I want to play with this one. And it's, I am a magnet for my incoming tribe. And my action is I'm going to create an Instagram live and I'm going to share authentically. Yes. Now, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know that I haven't really been showing up consistently, right? I've been working on the process of like getting clients versus attracting my tribe. So my new identity, tribe magnet. Oh. Right? So what's yours? Now, listen, I gotta be real with you because now that we're in this topic and this could be fun and games, and some of you guys could be into this or be coming up against this question, right? And it's, well, what happens when it doesn't work? Right? Like what happens? Because look, and so this is where let's talk about this, right? Because look, some of you are gonna do the work, and some of you are gonna feel super high and super awesome, and then wonder what happened 2 weeks later when the old patterns came crawling back. When all of a sudden I was gonna make that big choice, I was gonna make that big leap, and then all of my demons that I thought I had conquered, like, boom, decided to have a fucking party at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Right before my early morning test. Boom, right there. Well, now what? Now what? And here's what, they're gonna come back. Your identity, your old identity, oh man, it's gonna fight. It's gonna fight hard. Like, this isn't weakness, and this isn't failure. This is actually what evolution looks like. Like, your nervous system is wired for survival, and survival, well, sometimes that's familiar. And look, anything new, even good new. I'm about to get a promotion. I'm about to like, ooh, that's gonna be super cool. Wait, that's a lot of responsibility. Wait, this could also register as a threat. And the ego? Oh man, that part that's been keeping us safe, oh, it's not gonna give up its job without a fight. Like, you're gonna hear the old voice. I'm just like this. This isn't who I really am. Who am I kidding? See, I always do this. I don't know why I just sounded like that. Well, anyways, consider that, right? That voice, whatever voice, however it sounds, that voice is not wisdom. That voice is the old operating system trying to reinstall itself. So here's the trick: you don't argue back, you don't negotiate with it, you just simply acknowledge it. Thank you for sharing, and keep it going. Because here's the thing, and I've been learning this, and this like continues to show up, right? When I'm in the jungle, that transformation doesn't really happen in those dramatic moments. That's just the The real transformations happens in those ordinary ones. It's that Tuesday morning when nobody's watching and you do the thing anyway. The moment you choose that aligned response instead of the habitual one, that small yet invisible, yes, consistent proof that you actually are different now. That's the revolution, not the announcement. It's actually in the daily practice, the lifestyle. So here's what this looks like in real life. 3 practices, non-negotiables. You ready? 1, morning declaration. Before your feet hit the floor, like before the phone, before the coffee, before the noise of the day gets in, you say it out loud. Today, I am. Boom. State your identity. Not as a wish, as a fact, as something you're stepping into, something you are looking forward to embody today. Like, it just dawned on me, like, what if, like, you ever see that movie? Oh man, I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna try it anyway. You ever see that movie 50 First Dates? Where there's a woman where every day she like forgets, she has like a brand new, like her memory is completely scratched off, and every day, like she doesn't know who she is. But take the case that let's say she was super duper powerful, but then the next day she forgot. Just because she forgot, does that take away how powerful she is? And so this is where just like consider that you are that declaration the moment you say it. The only thing in the way of you recognizing it is the gap called integration, the beingness of it, the doing it. And that's what you get to do daily. That's the daily practice. So for now, for starters, declaration. First thing in the morning, right? Tomorrow morning for me, first thing I'm saying, I'm a magnet for success. I've never actually done that before. Surprisingly, I don't think I've ever actually said those specific ones. Right? Anyways, that, yes, that saying, that declaration that you're going to do, right, becomes our anchor for an identity aligned action day. And so today, or so tomorrow, as I make that declaration, well, even today, I said it today, and it was incredible how it shifted. The moment I said that, like, poof, like my energy just shifted, and I was just like, all right, well, whatever happens is what's going to happen and is what's going to lead for my success no matter what happens. Whether it's this or whether it's that, at the end of the day, I am a magnet towards attracting success. And so therefore, if it's not in my space, then it's not success. Yes? And so therefore I'm attracting success, and that's what and so therefore whatever it is what is. Boom, immediately released all mm, expectations, anxiety, just all of it, just like boop, gone. No, no more. Doesn't need to be there because I'm a magnet for success. And so whatever is. You see, that becomes like every decision point is from that opportunity. And look, that doesn't mean that every day is going to be perfect. Like, that's not the goal. The goal is the awareness of it. Am I acting from the old identity or the new one? The question alone changes everything, right? Like ask yourself like every time. Now, evening integration. At the end of the day, not you don't got to do like a full journal, just like 3 minutes. Like how did I embody my new identity today? Like if you have the coach dot ignite self mastery app, if you got the ignite AI coach, right? Like you go into the journal section, right? Into the thoughts and you just go in there and you just say, "Hey, look, today I felt this way. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. And this is some of the things that I thought about." Boom, done. Done. That's it. That's it. Right? And it's power when you get to do that. Plus I get points for doing that on the app. That's one of my habits. So as long as I do, it's a double whammy. Look at that. I get to journal and I get to get points. Boom. and I get to keep doing my weekly reward. Right? So, now, why do I wanna share this? I wanna share this with you because, look, this really applies across the board, because the identity work isn't just about personal development content, right? It's actually the infrastructure of our entire life. Like, in our professional life, like, there's a difference between someone who identifies as an employee doing a job and someone who identifies as a leader building something. They could be in the same desk, same responsibilities, different identity, different results, different energy in the room, right? Like, in your health, there's a difference between I have a condition and I'm someone who is healing and I'm building strength every day, to someone that gives themselves a fixed label, right? One, from that fixed label, like, you're stuck. One shrinks. But from a place of, I have a condition and I am someone who is healing, man, that's different. That says that gives you a direction that expands. What about relationships? Like, there's a difference between I always attract the wrong people and I am someone who sets the standard for the relationships I'm available for. One is victim energy, the other, ownership. And here's the wild thing. Your actual relationships will shift when your identity does, because you'll stop tolerating what the old identity accepted as normal. Like, in your family, right? And this one hit close to my heart, because there's a difference between being someone who seeks validation from family and someone who is stabilizing, loving presence within the family structure. You see, one is dependent of the family. The other one is interdependent. And interdependence is where the real magic lives. Yeah? And lastly, I want to land on this because, like, really, I do believe this is the foundation of everything, of a lot of the things that I teach, right? And it's really founded on integrity, and not integrity as a moral concept, integrity as a physical concept of integration. Yes, like the state of being whole and complete, undivided, congruent. So when your identity and your actions both align, yes, when when who you say you are matches who you actually live as, that's integrity. And when there's a gap between them, that gap is where the suffering lives. Yes? So, and it's not always like loud suffering. Sometimes it's quiet suffering. Like a low hum of a disconnection. Like a feeling that something's off, even when everything looks perfect on the outside. Ever felt that way? Look outside, everything's perfect. But why do I feel so shitty? Yeah? So the identity revolution is it's ultimately like the work of, how do I close that gap of becoming whole, of being the same person on stage as I am at home, of bringing my inside point of reference out into the world and refusing to negotiate away for approval, for comfort, for belonging. Because every time you keep your word to yourself, look, I'm a true believer of this. Like, every time you act from your chosen identity instead of your conditioned one, you remember who the fuck you are. Yeah? So let's start coming to a close. Yeah. I'm assuming that you came into this episode the same way most of us come into our lives, right? Thinking that the problem is the circumstance, the job, the relationship, the bank account, the body. And I hope, genuinely, I hope that what you leave with after this episode is a different question. Not what do I need to change in my life, but who do I need to become so that my life reflects who I actually am. Because you're not your patterns, and you're not your past, and you're not the story that was written about you before you had the wisdom to know it wasn't true. Like, you're not your fear, and you're not your limitation. You're not the cage. So, you are the one standing in front of the cage, and the door is open, and it has always been open. The question is, who are you choosing to walk out as? Not perfectly, not without failing, not without the old voice showing up and trying to pull you back, but consciously, like with intention, with ownership, with the understanding that every single day is a new declaration of who we are, not a new performance. Don't get it twisted. This isn't acting like acting for a movie. This isn't performance. This is you standing and embodying from a new declaration. And every time you act from, embody from your chosen identity instead of your conditioned one, you're closing the gap. So every time you do the small, unglamorous, invisible thing that the new version of you would do, you are building the proof. So yeah, like every time you choose alignment over comfort, you're becoming the living evidence that transformation is real. That is the revolution, not out there, in here. Yes, in the daily practice, in the morning declaration, in the moment you catch yourself slipping back and you choose again. That's the spark. That has always been the spark. And look, if this episode stirs something in you, yes, that you don't know what to sit with alone, then that's exactly what the inner circle is for, right? So every Monday we jump on a call every week, not inspiration, integration. Not a course you take once and forget. It's a community that holds you accountable to the version of yourself that you just declared. So come do the work with us. Join us. You don't have to carry this weight on your own, this identity shift alone. Like, that's not how transformation actually works. And for those of you who felt something personal in today's conversation, who maybe recognized your specific identity, your specific protection, your specific gap, that's what the aligned container is open for. Like, this is where we get to go deep on those conversations to discover your patterns, your shadows, your specific forks in the road. And this is where we build that maloka, that safe, sacred space that makes that cry possible, that expression possible. So let's talk about that. And you guys, this Saturday, Clean Planet Day. Woo woo. Don't forget, Clean Planet Day. Last Saturday of every month. Right? Look, it doesn't take much to just be a seed of hope. Yes, like all you got to do is just go out and like pick up one bag, right? Like go check out the website. It'll teach you, it'll tell you everything you got to do. You can create your event, you can share it, you bring people along, right? So go to wecleanplanet.com. Yeah. So until next time, you guys, stay grounded, stay honest, stay in the work. And listen here before I forget. The world, it doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs the real one. Yeah? The one who fell and got back up. The one who looked at the old identity and yet still chose the new one. The one who refused to be the spectator of their own life. So please keep igniting that spark within. Boom!